All right, good afternoon, YouTube. Welcome back to 21 Jewels, a wristwatch series. So on 21 Jewels, basically this channel is going to do watch reviews, but most of these reviews are going to be live unboxings, right? In this case, and I use that word unboxings a little bit loosely because I've already unboxed this. I already reviewed it on my second channel, Fat Cat Collections, but I wanted to make this channel more specific to watches, right? So the YouTube algorithm can actually recommend some of these videos to people who actually collect watches. If you're not familiar with Fat Cat Collections, I have like 1,700 videos on there, and a lot of them are watch reviews. Over 450, I think, is the amount of watch reviews, at least the amount of watches I own. So there's a lot of amazing, affordable watches out there. And on 21 Jewels, we're going to focus on these amazing brands. So today, I'm showing you guys one of Oceaneva's newest releases, their Damascus Deep Marine Explorer 2. Let me just give you guys a little close up here and show you just how amazing this watch is. Check this out. So pretty incredible watch. I gotta tell you, one of my favorite releases by Oceaneva. I've been working with Oceaneva for quite some time now. I've reviewed their Deep Marine Explorer 2. I am gonna try to get the version 3. I've reviewed some of their titanium watches. I believe their Deep Marine Explorer 1, their GMTs, their titanium versions. This company, of all the brands that I've reviewed, and just a little bit about my resume, like I said, I have 450 watches in my collection, plus or minus. I have a pretty good idea what you get for your money nowadays, and you really don't have to spend a lot of money to get an incredible watch. This brand is one of the most underrated brands out there. You know, in the watch community, folks always like gravitate more towards like Seiko. Anytime somebody wants an affordable watch, or you hear the watch snobs talking about what's a good watch for somebody who doesn't want to spend a lot of money, or just somebody kind of getting into watches. Like, this is something that you have to kind of dip your feet into. Like, there's so much knowledge, so much information you need. Absolutely not. There's a couple main, what I call check boxes that I look for in a quality watch. And let's face it, across the board, even if you get something that's like a $20, $30 watch, you're getting a level of quality that you couldn't get 30 years ago. And so most of the watches on the market do have differences when it comes to quality, but the biggest difference is really the price. Brands decide what they want to charge. Either they want to come into the market as an affordable watch that gives you a lot of bang for your buck, and a lot of brands do that. And as they start to build their brand recognition and start to build that kind of like watch snob respect, they start to up their prices. And I can wholeheartedly tell you that Oceaneva, you know, I don't own the company. I'm not sure what will happen down the road, but this company is one of the most underrated micro brands out there. The quality you get for money is incredible. Is it the best value out there? Value is subjective, but I can tell you that when I think of Oceaneva, I not just think of like a fashion watch, a watch that I want to wear, and this is why I generally wear watches, but this is a tool watch. And when you look at watches comparable, you generally pay in the $2,000 price point. Oceaneva, it just really gives you a lot of bang for your buck. And we're going to talk about the specifications. Now, number one, what I always say about watch collecting is when you choose a watch, if you're not going to eventually have, you know, several hundred watches in your collection, as you start to grow a huge collection, you start to look for things that are just different to add to your collection. It's different than the guy who says, hey, you know what? I want to buy one or two watches. I want this watch to last a really long time. You know, I just aren't looking to have a giant collection of watches. Then you might be a little bit more selective in what you're looking for. And so generally when I talk about the check boxes, I think if you kind of focus on these check boxes, you really can't go wrong. So number one, do you like it? So this is a Damascus steel watch, and I'll get to what type of metal they use. Because I think generally Damascus, when it's used for like knife making and swords and cutlery, I think they use a different type of metal. So Damascus, in this case, is just fusing two types of stainless steel together. It's absolutely incredible. There isn't tons of Damascus watches on the market. I'll tell you, I mean, this is like, I love Oceaneva watches. I mean, they're not big. Like, if you recognize me, you know I'm an Invicta fan as well. And I like all size watches. But I can tell you, you know, normally I wouldn't, of all the homage style, and I don't want to say homage, I shouldn't really say homage, because a lot of folks will say this is like a Rolex homage, right? And I feel like that gets kind of tossed around a lot. I feel like anytime a watch has a 3-link bracelet or has a round face and more of a traditional style case, people refer to it as a homage to a Rolex Submariner. That's not really the case. You know, there were round watches before Rolex. they've done an amazing job of building their brand recognition, but this is really its own thing. Like, they're not trying to copy anybody. It's a simple, basic, classic style, with the exception of that Damascus. So number one, again, do you like it? You may not like this texture, this type of, it's a very flashy, kind of loud watch, I think, in my opinion. You have a very bright Damascus face. Everything's very shiny on it. You have that two-tone kind of Damascus steel where the two different types of metal are coming together. It's a flashy looking watch. So if it's not for you, then there's many other watches that are more reserved and more, I don't use the word boring, but more conservative that you might like better. But if you like this, then bam, right there, you're on to checkbox number 2. And this one really can almost be checkbox number 1, is what is it made out of? Are you getting 316 stainless steel? Are you getting 904? Are you getting gold? In the watch world, really all you need is 316. It's going to give you amazing corrosion resistance. You don't really need, sorry, some guys sitting out there. You don't really need anything else. Now, if you want gold because you love gold, I and the luxury behind it, I totally get that. But having something like 904 is really meaningless. Now, if you want it, always remember, if it's something you want that just makes you happy, that's all. That's the only reason you really need to buy anything. But you only need 316. In this case, the two different metals that they use in this are, let's see, I have to look it up here. They've used a combination of 304 and 316 L that they source from a German supplier. So you're getting high quality types of stainless steel, both a 304 and 316. I'm not super familiar with the, all the properties of how corrosive resistance works with 316 versus 304. I believe 316 is superior to 304, but don't quote me on that. I think they make a lot of like barbecue grills out of 304, but do not quote me on that. I'm not 100% sure. The main reason they used it is because you get a different look, and you can call this watch Damascus. That's my understanding. You have a Damascus bezel. Everything about this watch just screams Damascus. And if you are like a knife collector and you are a guy who really appreciates the way Damascus looks, then this is like a no-brainer for you to add to your collection. One, you're going to love the way it looks. Two, I mean, the quality is out of this world. But let's come back to that, right? Let's talk about the check boxes. So again, you have great quality German stainless steel. If you have Chinese stainless steel or German stainless steel or American stainless steel, doesn't really make a difference. I don't know. It really depends on how they source it. But I can tell you, most likely Oceaneva chose a German supplier because there's no question about the quality, right? It's like buying something from kind of a non-reputable seller. It may very well be 316 or 304, but you're not 100% sure. So they're really sourcing quality materials from a quality vendor, right? After that, right, so you have great quality materials in this. You don't need any more. After that, next comes to movement. And so you're going to get, some folks don't mind quartz. Some folks want automatic only. I collect both. I really don't have I don't really discriminate. I'm totally happy with either automatic movements or quartz movements, but I will always kind of gravitate. If I have to choose between a quartz or an automatic, I'll always gravitate more towards an automatic. I just like the idea of having the mechanics in there. So the never having to change the battery. I like that because I don't wear my watches every single day. I wear one a couple days, and I may not wear it for 6 months, right? So I like the ability to not have to worry about the batteries failing. That's one of my check boxes. But if it's a watch I really like, then I'll get it, right? A lot of the Invicta watches I have are quartz watches because that's just what they put in them. If you like the watch enough and the build quality is there, then you will accept a quartz. At least I will. My dad, he'll wear both, but my dad prefers a quartz because he doesn't have to worry about setting the time. So after that comes down to what kind of crystals it have. Across the board, sapphire is the most scratch resistant, but it's not like the other materials are prone to scratching. I've never scratched K9. I've never scratched, K1, Cristerna, acrylic, Hardlex, Flame Fusion. They're all very difficult to scratch. But if you do want the hardest, most scratch resistant, and I think it's kind of a given if you're going to spend a certain amount on a watch that it has that. I think if they wouldn't have put sapphire in this watch, people would be like, oh, why didn't they do that? Even if it's not going to really mean anything to them, even if it's not going to give them any kind of real benefit, people still want it. So I'm glad that Oceaneva, they know what people want in a watch, and they're going to put it in there regardless if they can manufacture it for less and make more money. They're going to give you the best quality with all these check boxes, as I like to call them. Now, movement. Let's get back to that movement. So this is an automatic, and this one is, they really knocked it out of the park with this. They use a Swiss-made Sellita SW200-1. It's a 26 joule, 38 power reserve movement. Beats at 28,800, and it has hacking, quick date, equivalent to the ETA 2824, which I have that movement in a different watch, but only with one extra jewel for reduced wear. And so the jewels are synthetic rubies that they put in automatic movements, and that basically is think of them as ball bearings. They're on friction points. They're on moving parts, right? So it's, you get an extra level of, wear resistance. Of course, I've never 17 joule, 20, 21 joule, whatever. I've never had anything wear out. So, I mean, it's not too important, but the brand movement is. And so a Sellita is generally a higher tier movement. Whether or not it's going to make any difference, maybe it's a little more accurate. At the end of the day, I just feel like all automatic movements work. And I think if you get something in an NH35, a Citizen, a Miyota, whatever you choose, if it's a main brand name, you're going to get a good, reliable movement. But at this price point, getting a Swiss-made Sellita for this price point, and let me just hit you with that now, $399 this sucker is on sale for today. And I believe my 10% coupon in the description and my link to the description does actually give you 10% off that. Incredible. There's no other brand, in my opinion, that can touch the value you get for, and not just the looks, right? Most of the time, if you're going to pay $400 for a watch, maybe you'll find one with a Sellita. Generally, a lot of these micro brands will have the NH35 in there for $400. And I'm not saying every single one, but go look at what you're going to get with a Seiko branded watch. You're not going to get this level of quality. You're not going to get this spec sheet, right? Not saying Seiko's not awesome. Don't get me wrong, but they're no better than anybody else out there. So you're getting an amazing quality watch that really just knocks it out of the park with all the specs, right? I hate using the kind of the words a lot of the watch snobs use, but the spec monster is what a lot of people use when they're reviewing watches. I hate kind of those coined phrases, but it's the truth though, right? I mean, it's amazing. What else? The bracelet on this. Now, this did not come on this. This actually comes with an FKM high quality rubber strap. I have it right here. Let me show you guys what this looks like. Really nice Damascus buckle on there. I'm glad they just didn't put on some cheapy, regular plain old buckle. You have a huge, nice diver style Damascus buckle. And again, a really nice quality Oceaneva strap. I took it off and put it on shark mesh. This is a 316 stainless steel Aragon shark mesh bracelet. Hands down, one of the best value straps or bracelets you can get out there. And I'm more of a bracelet guy than a rubber strap, especially if I'm going to go with something that was on rubber or another material besides stainless steel or bracelet. I would either want something like white or just something other than black. This is a little bit too much. No disrespect to G-Shock. They're fantastic watches, but a little bit boring for my taste. I need that metal. They do make this model with a white face with white band. I did request that at first, but it was not available. I'm really glad they ended up sending me this one. Kudos to them, sending me this as opposed to that one, because I love the way that Damascus face looks. The whole watch. I mean, if you're buying a Damascus watch, why not just scream Damascus? It just really has an amazing look. And I will tell you, this watch has gotten more wrist time than any other watch in my collection for like the last 30 days roughly. Generally, I wear a watch for like a day and maybe two, but this one I find myself just going back to. I've worn it to work, and my job is physical. These are the watches that when I wear an Oceaneva, I'm not, and I don't mean to say it's like it with other brands I don't feel this about, but generally there's certain watches I wear that I feel like they're nice, but I just don't feel like maybe they can handle the abuse that this can. So you're getting amazing quality with this. What else? Again, sapphire crystal. I believe this one has an anti-reflective coating. Let me just confirm that for a second here. Water resistance. How can we forget about that? 4,100 feet of water resistance, or 1,250 meters. And it is designed, tested by water pressure test at 1,250 meters. Now, I don't think every single Oceaneva watch that you buy is going to be pressure tested, but I think their design is. And again, don't quote me on that, but these are only available up to 1,000 pieces. So definitely get it while you can. Let me see if I missed anything here. You know, size 42 millimeter. That's pretty standard when it comes to a standard sized watch. It is a Damascus sealed unidirectional rotating bezel. It does have that helium escape valve on the side. Again, these are just high quality, well built, amazing watches. Without further ado, let's throw it on the wrist. This is what it's going to look like on a guy my size, my height, my weight. 42 is pretty standard, so you'll see a lot of guys. 7-inch wrist is pretty standard. That's like the average wrist size. But you know, it'll give you an idea what it might look like on you. Just an incredible timepiece. It looks fantastic on that shark mesh strap. Absolutely love the look. You know, I thought about buying like a different, like AliExpress or, you know, even Amazon, a different, more of like a 3-link bracelet, even like maybe like a Doxa style. But after throwing it on this strap or this bracelet, I really don't need to change it. I love the way it looks. It's just a fantastic piece. And I encourage Oceaneva that they really should make an Oceaneva bracelet for this, because I think most people would order it on bracelet. You know, charge a little more. I mean, it'd be worth it to me. That's about it. Those are the main features of the watch. I mean, it really knocks it out of the park with specs. And I don't know what other brand. You don't quote me on this. You might find them, but I don't know where you can get a watch with this kind of spec sheet for $399. Actually, what was that? Minus $40 for the coupon code. So what was that? $360? I mean, $360, go into a brick and mortar store, see what $360 gets you. It doesn't get this. It's really an amazing brand, and I'm really fortunate to be able to work with them. One more thing I forgot, you have grade A BGW9 Swiss loom, and it does have a screw down crown with triple seal, integrated case, crown guards, and the Trident logo. I forgot to mention that, but it is just incredible. So check it out. Links in the description. I hope you enjoyed my live watch review. Hoping to build this channel. If you haven't checked out Fat Cat Collections, do so. That's my primary channel, but I want to make this channel just specifically about watches. So thanks for watching. Have a fantastic day, folks, and take care.